Hello, welcome back for another virtual IoT webinar. This is Benjamin, and we have Roxanne as well. We will be monitoring your questions today. I don't think we've talked about IoT hardware that much during the virtual IoT meetup sessions. It's usually all about the software for the constrained devices, the gateways, the cloud, and data management and whatnot. Today, we're going to talk about hardware, and even more so about open hardware. Like real open hardware for IoT solutions. Our guest today is going to be Ashish from Sierra Wireless. You may have heard about some of the initiatives from Sierra Wireless around open source IoT. Well, of course, they're very involved with Eclipse IoT open source projects, but they also ran Legato as well as Mango, which is going to be the topic for today's webinar. So before leaving the floor to Ashish, I want to remind you guys that questions are always appreciated and make the session very interactive. So please make sure to use the YouTube chat to send your questions. You can also tweet them using virtual IoT and hashtag. But I think these days the YouTube chat is where the cool kids hang out. So please ask your questions in the chat as they come. Basically, you don't want to wait until we're wrapping up to send your questions. And yeah, without further ado, I will let Ashish briefly introduce himself maybe and go with his presentation. Welcome, Ashish.
Thank you, Benjamin. Firstly, thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you, Roxanne, and thank you, Benjamin. My name is Ashish Sayal. I'm a chief engineer in the CTO office at Sierra Wireless. I'm also the founder and architect for the Mango platform. So today I'm going to walk you through why we did the Mango platform, what were the major initiatives we have done or use cases we have launched for this platform, how this can help you, and what the future is for the Mango platform itself. So without further ado, I'm going to start the presentation, and I'm going to jump straight to my slide deck. So let's go straight up to the presentation itself. Well, so first of all, why did we start doing the Mango platform? There were
wrong button. You wanted to hide.
Okay.
Not stop.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry about that. All right. So why did we do the Mango platform? Well, there were three key drivers when we launched the Mango platform. The first one was we wanted to simplify the complexity involved in developing new connected cellular products. We wanted to reduce the time to market, as well as we wanted to remove the interoperability issues between cellular and wired, wireless, and sensor technologies. What we were finding is that a lot of our customers would approach us with an idea, but they were not able to prototype them because it was too complex to prototype them or it was too expensive. Even if they prototype them, the prototypes they would launch in the field, they would break, and it was too expensive to go fix them in the field. And so when we talked to these customers, we decided that the best thing we can do for them is to give them a platform that will allow them to test their ideas quickly and fail cheaply. That was the key parameter for us. We wanted to allow our customers to test, fail quickly, and jump on to the next version of their idea, and so they can take it to market in the shortest possible time. So that's the reason why we decided to develop an open source hardware platform that can be used for industrial IoT purposes. And in our view, this platform is completely focused on a B2B model where we will launch an open source platform, and other tier ones or startup companies can use this platform to go build their end application. So if you look at the platform itself, what does it consist of? It consists of two core ideas. The first one are a series of reference designs that can be used by the end customer to build their own products. They can either deploy them as a proof of concept in the field as a prototype, test out their ideas, and then modify it to build their own product, or even launch a small scale deployment to go and win, in some cases, venture capital funding. So that was the first core element. The second core element are IoT expansion cards. What we found out was when we compare ourselves to, say, the other open source hardware platforms out there, They were very good for prototyping. So you can have like a plug-in connector that goes on top of the board. But we found that we could not develop our own gateways with what the other open source application platforms are giving out. So we decided to build our own gateway and we have launched this platform under the Creative Commons license attribution style. This is the most common, I would say, of all the, as the most permissive, I would say, of all the open source licenses out there.
Ashish?
Yes?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't know if you're having bandwidth issues. It looks like you're not sharing your screen anymore, and we lost you for like 30 seconds, 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, it might be a bandwidth issue. So can you see my screen now?
No.
Okay. Well, give me 1 second while I.
For what it's worth, it might be an issue with Google Hangouts today. It looks like some people had issues on their side as well before you dropped off. So let's give it another try. Like, can you stop sharing your screen and start again, maybe?
Is it better now, or should I start again?
Like it's not better. Like we don't see neither your screen nor your webcam. I'm not sure why is that.
Mm-hmm. I can see you now.
Okay, at least there's that.
Do you see the screen or?
No, but if you can see me, maybe I will just use the slides you sent me, and I will be your presenter. Give me just 1 sec, and it looks like everyone is very patient today, so we have everyone still on the line. So we'll be back very soon. Just time for me to open up the slide deck. All right. All right, time for me to share my screen now. This is it. All right, we were slide number.
Yeah, you're right there. Right
Okay.
there. All right. So, well, I guess
there we go.
Let's go on beyond the interruption. Thanks, Benjamin. Thank you for pointing that out. So I'll start again. So basically, we launched the Mango platform under the Creative Commons license attribution style. This is the most accommodating of licenses offered and is used for maximum dissemination. This license allows you to distribute, remix, tweak, and build upon the Mango, even commercially, as long as you credit your final design to us. So basically, you own the final design. If you look at mango.io, under the documentation section, you will see that we provide the bill of materials, schematics, Gerbers, for for the latest as well the archived Mango red and green boards. All the components used on the design are industrial grade. The layout has been done following all the manufacturing rules for mass production of the platform. We also released test documentation showing you the test coverage. As a third party, and whoever that is, whether it's a tier one or a startup company, they can go download these files. They can optimize the design to meet their form factor requirements and use the same manufacturing rules we did, or they can modify the design as per the contract manufacturer requirements itself. We believe, and we're beginning to see that happen, that this whole process will improve the time to market for customers who want to bring the cellular platform to the market in the shortest possible time. So let's go to the next slide, Benjamin. Okay. So on the left-hand side, you'll see the Mango Green platform. This is something we took to the market in May of 2016. And we saw, I would say, a decent uptick on that platform. It was adopted by a lot of tier ones as well as small startup companies. It's more like a dev kit platform where we provide 3 IoT cards, 2 CF3 modules. Those are the modules in which you put the CF3 the cellular modules in. And it's a big platform. It's around 100 by 120 millimeters. And after we launched that platform, we started listening to what the market is telling us. And the feedback was very, I would say, was very strong that Mango Green is good for a development platform, but they wanted something closer to a final product, more like an MVP, so minimum viable product kind of a form factor. So, and listening to the community, we decided to launch the Mango Red, which is what you see on the right-hand side. It's actually smaller than the Mango Green, and it is something that we decided to do based on the feedback. So I'm going to go into more details of this platform in the next couple of slides. So if you go to the next slide. Yeah, Benjamin, do you mind going into a PowerPoint mode?
Sure. Do you mind? So do you want me to go to these slides while I actually switch to PowerPoint?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So on the CF3, on the Mango board itself, we have a CF3 module. So on the CF3 module, this is the heart of the platform itself. These modules consist of 2 cores. The first core is a telecom core. This telecom core allows you to connect to a 2G, 3G, 4G network anywhere in the world. And we also provide a GNSS in some of these versions of the modules. Besides the telecom core, we also provide an application core. And in this application core, you can run our open source software framework called Legato, or you can run using your own POSIX APIs that if you're more comfortable using that. But a lot of support that we provide is to Legato itself. This application core provides you access to a number of IOs. So you'll have a SPI bus or a USB, SDIO, UART, all the interfaces that you need to connect to sensors and actuators on board or to other wired, wireless, or sensor technologies. The WP module comes in, as of today, comes in 2 flavors. One is the WP 85 and 75. This is what we have launched the platform with. This has a Cortex A5 at 550 megahertz. There's a 256 megabytes of flash and 128 megabytes of RAM available for the user space. So this is what's available for you to write your applications on. The second generation, which we'll be launching and bringing to the market in December, will be the WP76 for Mango Red. This will be a 1.2 gigahertz processor, and will have the same flash and same memory to run your applications on. And this platform itself will support 2G, 3G, 4G, and LPWA, CAT-M1, NB-IoT, and ECGSM. So we're trying to cover all the cellular technologies, give you a lot of RAM and flash to run your applications on. It's using an open source software framework called Legato. And it's also, you are free to use your own. If you don't wish to do that, you can run to the POSIX side. But a lot of infrastructure, a lot of code samples we provide are towards using Legato application framework. So if you go to the next slide.
Which I will. I will actually take some time to ask people whether there's questions, and use this as an opportunity to switch to real PowerPoint. I actually have one question myself. Said that Mango Red is smaller than Mango Green, but what size are we talking about actually?
So the Mango Red itself is 61 by 69 millimeters. It is, if you know the Raspberry Pi B+, it's pretty much the same form factor as that. So the smaller Raspberry Pi.
Okay.
And yeah, and the Mango Green was 100 by 120. So the form factor reduction is we have reduced the size to 1/3 of the size of Mango Green.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So a bit more on the features now. So if you look at it, let's start from the left top corner. So CF3 socket. It's in this CF3 socket you can drop in your the WP module or the HL module. So either of the two modules where you can run your applications on. We also provide a SIM. So when you go and get this platform from the market, we provide a Sierra Wireless SIM, since Sierra Wireless is a MVNO, and we give 100 megabytes of data for free for North America and Europe, and 50 megabytes for the Asia region. We also have a built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on this platform. So the Wi-Fi is BGN, and the Bluetooth is Bluetooth 4.2. We will be providing sometime in late November applications and sample code for the Wi-Fi use case, and in early January or so for the Bluetooth use case. So you can think of this platform as having Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and cellular all built in, and we're providing you a SIM card to get started. We also have taken care, understanding the needs of the IoT market itself, as well as the feedback from the community. We have put in a few sensors on board. So we provide a light sensor, we provide an accelerometer, a gyroscope, a pressure sensor, a temperature sensor, and you can use these sensors to collect data and then push this back to the cloud. But you can use Sierra Wireless Cloud because we provide we use lightweight M2M, OMA lightweight M2M to push this data back to our cloud, or you can use MQTT, the PAHO-based MQTT, to push it to a different cloud if you so wish. We have an audio jack on board. So this audio jack can be used to make two-way calls. So it's a two-way communication. We provide a USB host and a USB USB on the go. This platform can run on a DC power supply of 5 volts input. It can also run on a battery. We provide, and we are about to just release it this week, a battery API as well. So this API can be used to monitor the status of the battery. You can get alarms based on if the battery is exceeding a certain level or below a certain level, if there's a change in state. So for example, the battery is going from a fully charged mode to a discharged mode. So you get a lot of these alarms. So you can make more intelligent decisions like, okay, I'm only going to send this data when I know my battery is above a certain level, or I'm only going to send download data, for example, when I'm actually in a charging state and not in a discharging state. So this allows you to start making more intelligent decisions at the edge side itself. We also have a 26-pin Raspberry Pi connector on board. So you can connect the Raspberry Pi hats if you want to. So we're trying to bring in the third-party open source community as well into our ecosystem. We have a single IoT expansion card. This is what you will use to go build a final product. We provide today in the market, you'll find IoT cards like a CAN bus IoT card, a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth IoT card. You will find Ethernet, RS-232, RS-485, LoRa, Sigfox. So there's a bunch of IoT cards that are available in the market today that you can use to go build your platform. The platform also consists, the Mango Red also consists of a Cortex M4, where we are running free RTOS. So you almost have a combination of a Linux-based cellular platform, a modem, in conjunction with the Cortex M4 in case you want to do some real-time I/O stuff. So basically, if you want a much quicker response time, in case you're building a robotics or drone application, you can kind of leverage that using this Cortex M4. So this kind of brings the whole platform that we're giving to people. So we are providing cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. We're giving you a SIM. We are providing a bunch of sensors. It could be wall powered or it could be battery powered. We provide you IoT cards. We have a lot of sample code available on our GitHub site. You can download that, play with it. We have a very, I would say, well-reviewed, and we have got very good feedback on our getting started documentation for the Mango Red itself. And we're seeing a very good reception to this platform. So now let's go to the next slide, Benjamin. Right. So one of the things we really focused on was the power consumption of the platform. If you look at a lot of other open source platforms out there, power consumption is sometimes at the lowest power states. Let's just say that, because cellular in itself is extremely power hungry. But what we did on our platform was we focused that if we put our modules in the lowest deep sleep state, what would be the power consumption of the system? To that end, on a Mango Red, when you put it into a deep sleep mode, the power consumption can be as low as 25 microwatts. And depending on the use case and the type of battery you use, you can have up to 10 years of battery life. So it depends on the battery size, how many times of what's the data transmission you want to do per day, what's the discharging of the battery. But based on a very standard use case, I would say one transmit per day, we were able to get, at least during our calculations, we have not done the measurements, but we estimate you can get this kind of a battery life on a platform. So we are focused on the power consumption as well on the Mango Red. So now if we go to the next slide.
Well, actually, if you don't mind, I will interrupt you with a question that just came in. Someone was mentioning that they have a Mango already, and you mentioned the Raspberry Pi connector. What would be, according to you, the typical use case for attaching a Mango to a Raspberry Pi?
Oh, okay. So, okay, that's a very interesting and good question. So on the Mango platform, when you use a WP module, you're the master, right? So you are controlling the whole platform. So you have an application processor, you have a modem, and you have running Legato or whatever you want to do on the Mango. Raspberry Pi itself is also like a processor itself and has ownership of its own platform. What the 26-pin connector of the Mango lets you do is it lets you connect. So some of the hats that Raspberry Pi uses today, some, not all, because some of the hats from Raspberry Pi are 40-pin. So some of the hats of the Raspberry Pi you can actually put on top of a Mango. And you can say, we have an application today where we took a TFT LCD, and we have it, which is what Raspberry Pi uses. We can now run it on top of a Mango. So if you want a touchscreen LCD and you want it to look nice, we allow you to, you can actually use the Raspberry Pi connector for that. You can, of course, have a Raspberry Pi and a Mango talk to each other. Just in case, suppose you want to do some GPU functionality on the Raspberry Pi and you want to do all the IoT stuff on the Mango side, you can do that as well. You can communicate via UART or SPI between the two. So the use cases are a lot. So you could use the Mango Red for all the IoT real-time applications, and you can use the Raspberry Pi more as a video processing or a GPU system. So many use cases there. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Actually, one more question, and feel free to defer that to the end, but I think it's worth clarifying. Someone is wondering what's the Legato application framework, so it might be worth detailing that.
So yes, so the Legato application framework is something we built on top of a Linux framework itself. So basically, it consists of three pieces. The first one is the Yocto Linux. We provide you a Yocto-based Linux infrastructure. And this allows you to talk. So this is all the drivers and stuff that are supported by Yocto Foundation. We support it on our side. On top of the Yocto, we provide you a framework, which is a Legato framework, where we abstract out some of the APIs that are used in Linux and make it simple for you to talk to the modem side or to IOs on the WP module, or as well as send data back to the cloud. So it's more a bunch of it's like a framework on the top of which we provide you services, which make it easy for you to communicate to the modem, to communicate to the sensors, actuators, and the cloud. So it's more like a bunch of services running on top of Yocto Linux that allows you, that makes, I would say, your life easier, and you don't have to go write POSIX APIs, but use the APIs that we provide. It also has an IDE. So the IDE we provide, Developer Studio, is Eclipse based as well. So all those three things combined together, the Yocto Linux, the application framework, and the IDE, as well as command line tools, in a very short way is what the Legato Linux framework is. And maybe we can do a more detailed talk on that, Benjamin, for later.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, you mentioned cloud, so maybe you can resume your presentation now.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. So let's try to bring it all together now. So what we are seeing, the way people are using our platform is they're taking sensor and actuator data. So this could be either a mobile asset system or a capital asset system. They take the data from the edge. They do some device processing or edge processing using the Legato framework that we provide. And then using our smart SIM, or you can even use your own SIM if you want to. We are open from that perspective. You can use different third-party SIM here, and then push that data to AirVantage, which is Air Wireless's cloud services, as well as you can push it to a third-party cloud. Either or is fine. In the end, what you're seeing here is we are providing you a mechanism to take data from the edge, and we have APIs in Legato that allow you to connect easily to the sensors and actuators and other wired and wireless sensor technologies. And we allow you at the AirVantage side to connect using cloud connectors to connect to third-party cloud applications. So this is what we're beginning to see people are using a platform for. Taking data from the edge, doing some processing, pushing it back to the cloud, and then connecting it to third-party enterprise solutions. Now what I'll do is I'm going to walk you through the different segments that we have seen our adoption to be. So if you press next here, Benjamin. Yeah. What we are seeing, that the platform itself is being adopted across multiple entities. So it could be in automotive industry, more like a telematics box, telematics dongle. So they'll use a Mango platform, build a proof of concept, connect a CAN bus, get the data and push it to the cloud. Once that's verified, they say, okay, I'm good to go. Then they go build their own product. We're also seeing it being used for smart meter applications. So people are using to, again, test out their ideas for a smart meter. And if it all looks good, then they go and build a final product from it. We're seeing it being used for proof of concepts on the payment terminal sides. And we're also seeing it being used for home security and home automation applications, especially also on the medical side. We're beginning to see some people are using the Mango Red for building early proof of concepts. So these are the various industry segments we're targeting. What I'm going to talk about next, if you go to the next slide, is a tier 1 use case where a tier 1 last November decided to use the Mango platform, and why they did that. So the first thing this tier 1 did, and this is a smart city application, by the way, and under NDA, we can't tell you more. The first thing they did on their own side in November 2016 was they said, we will do an extensive survey of platforms. And they said the requirements for them was there should be no vendor lock-in. There should be the ability for them to try out the platform before they go and productize it. And they wanted to have a platform that has gone through a large peer review. To that end, they selected the Mango plus Legato platform. And the reason for that was the schematics, Gerbers, and BOMs were available online. So they knew this platform works, and it has been verified by a lot of people. Because if you go to the Mango forum today, you'll see a lot of questions coming, but no one's really complaining about the platform itself not working. So it's more about API questions or some other questions about detailed, complex topics. But it has been verified, I would say, by the community itself. And then Legato provides you the APIs, drivers, and code samples that you need to quickly test out your ideas. And overall, the reference design is readily available for use. So once they selected a platform by February of this year, they said, let's go deploy a proof of concept. The requirements of the proof of concept was they did the firmware and cloud development using the Mango Green. They were getting very quick response to the issues they had, and there was a lot of engineer-to-engineer interaction at the forum side. And what they also started noticing was the community itself is pretty active. You'll find usually in a day we have at least 5 to 8 questions today on the forum, and we try to be as responsive as we can there. And there's a lot of third-party IoT modules and documentation, support documentation that you can use to go build your platform. So by June of this year, they were able to say, okay, this looks good. We have tested 5 of them in our lab. Let's go deploy these in the field. And for the deployment itself, they're actually doing both the Mango Red and the Mango Green deployment. And this is ongoing. And in the next few weeks, we will actually start seeing results from that deployment. And we'll be able to make it more available to the public. But what I'm trying to show here is how the open source nature of the platform allowed it to be selected, how the community aspect of it allowed this tier 1 to stay with us, and how in the end they have stuck to us to the end to go do the actual deployments in the field. And this is something we are seeing happen a lot with the different use cases. So if you now go to the next slide. So this is one application. This is MEA is a smart agriculture application. So that's a company based in Australia. What they did was they used the Mango Green platform because that was what was available last year. And they connected Zigbee module to it. And they were able to measure a bunch of sensors, soil sensors in the field. They were able to collect the data about the soil, moisture level, soil, and whatever else they wanted to connect on from the sensor side. They were able to do processing on those and then push the data back to their own cloud system. And this is a kind of application where they were doing edge processing, pushing the data back to the cloud. And what they do is they usually sample once every 15 minutes or so and then go back to sleep and then again wake up, sample all the sensors. And this allows them to control the water, when to water the fields, what level to water the fields, and where to water the field. So it's a very smart agriculture kind of application. And one of the things I'm seeing a lot happen is a pretty good uptake of the Mango platform in this field. To me, it caught me by a bit of, like, I was a bit, when I look at the use cases for this seemed to occupy around, I would say 10 to 20% of the use cases that we are seeing with the Mango platform. So let's go to the next one. So the next one is a telematics control unit. This was built by Mahindra, Tech Mahindra in India. And basically their story is very, I would say, something that we see get repeated all the time. So these, in I would say July 2016, a team of engineers in Tech Mahindra bought the Mango platform. They stuck in a CAN bus IoT module. They did some simulations. They did some driver loading. They were very active at the community. In fact, Neela was one of the most active guys in the community. If you go back and look at the record for that time frame, and they asked us a lot of questions. How do we build the drivers? How do we build our applications? And within 2 to 3 months, they were able to show a working prototype to their own, to the higher management. And then they got an approval to go build this TCU. So TCU, as some of you may know, is something that's used inside the car. So it's a telematics control unit. It's used for gathering data about the ignition state, the battery state, and all the other parameters inside an electric car. They take that data and they just maybe, in their case, they push it back to their cloud services. And once they're able to show a working prototype, they've then built, they downloaded the Mango Gerber schematics, bill of material. They build their own platform, and they were able to then, within 2 revisions, so that was as quick as that, within 2 revisions of their hardware, they were able to show a final working product. And I think it's launching later this year in action in cars itself in India. So this is an example, and this is very typical, I would say, of how people are beginning to adopt this platform in the industrial IoT space. If you go to the next one. So Renfell is a company, again, based in Australia, and they decided to use the Mango Green platform to build a weather monitoring station. They connected to it a bunch of sensors, including a solar panel, and it was used to get a micro weather. So they were able to get more about what's the weather around a certain area that can be used, and that information can be used in various other applications. And then they would combine that data with weather information from the whole locality. So they'd have a macro weather situation and a micro weather situation, and that data could be used to make more intelligent decisions. And this could be for smart ag, but this could be for other smart city applications as well. So this is another application that was built by a company in Australia here. The secure home is an application which is a more smart home application. This company, again, followed the same track of others, used the Mango Green to verify their the product concept. In this case, what they do is they're able to give secure access to the home or to a residential area based on NFC codes, or also a touchpad ID, or you can voice recognition, and all that information is used to allow access inside a secure residential premise. They built this platform, they tested it out on a Mango Green. Once everything was ready, they were able to get funding for it, and they have this final product ready now, and that's being launched in the market as well. Next one. M2MD Technologies is a company based in Atlanta, Georgia. They are not a hardware company, but what they wanted was a gateway platform for them so that they could showcase their platform, which is more a security system as well as a connectivity management system. They use the Mango platform to showcase the whole concept, and they're able to talk to different companies throughout the world and are able to sell their concept, which is more a software solution. And how that helps us, which is interesting, is a lot of other companies which are buying the software solution would say, okay, that looks good. I'm ready to use the Mango platform as well to build my own concept. So it's been a quid pro quo in a sense of us providing them the hardware solution, and these companies like M2MD are able to build a software solution on it, and they work together to win customers over. Next slide. This is another application built. It's a mobile digital video recorder, which is built by a company in India again. We're seeing a pretty good adoption for IoT and LTE applications in that zone, in the India zone. And here what they do is they took the Mango platform, they connected a USB connector. Through the USB, they were able to download video. They were able to store the video on an SD card, and then they're able to push it back to a cloud in case they see if they have a sensor event or something. So that's the kind of application they built. They use pretty much the same hardware schematics, BOMs, as was done by Mahindra or Renfell or Com Communications. So same concept being implemented in many different vertical market segments, and we're beginning to see this success come to us in the industrial IoT space. That's what Mango has targeted. Next slide. Okay. So what did we do on the Mango platform? We targeted three things. First was we came up with a technology. So the two, as I talked about early on, the two core elements, the Mango different reference designs, multiple IoT cards. So we focused a lot on the technology, made sure our technology was solid and something that can be used in the industrial IoT space as a B2B, from a B2B business model perspective. But that was just one element of what we focused on. The second thing we are focused on is the ecosystem. And in the ecosystem side, we have brought in a number of partners that are now actively working with us to build the platform, build multiple IoT cards. And Here, what you'll see is we focus on the technology with the Mango Red. We got it done. We got the IoT specification written down, published. People used it. On the community side, we have a number of companies who are actively working with us. DigiKey is I would say the main distributor for the Mango Red platform, and Element 14 for the Mango Green. We have companies like Talon Communications who are building IoT cards and building the Mango Red platform. We also have a number of other, I would say, big tier one companies like Qualcomm, MediaTek, and others, and Orange and others who are using our platform are actively contributing to it. And we have worldwide distribution today with DigiKey, Richardson, Future, ACAL, and all others being part of the system. We have a number of IoT cards available, which you can use to go build your end applications. We provide sample code. We have wiki pages that you can use to write your applications and then easily prioritize it as time goes by. If you go to mango.io, you'll find that we have a number of tutorials, videos, getting started documentation. Our GitHub site has a lot of sample code that you can use. You can learn from those to build your own end applications. So basically, we have focused on three things. One is technology, one is ecosystem, and the third is business model. We are allowing companies to come to us and join this ecosystem and monetize it either through their own final products or by contributing to the ecosystem itself. So we are focused on all the three things, not just technology, but the ecosystem and the business model side of things. Next slide, Benjamin. Okay. So we launched the Mango Green in May 2016. We launched the Mango Red in September of 2017. And next year, we will be also, later next year, we'll be giving to the market the Mango Yellow platform. You can think of this as very focused on LTEM and NB-IoT use cases. So a lot of mobile asset tracking, capital asset management use cases. Heavily focused on battery life, heavily focused on sensor data. And we'll be bringing this to the market next year as well. So this will be, again, around the same time frame with the September to November timeframe next year. And this could also be a continuation of our vision of how people can use this platform to quickly take their concepts, turn them into prototypes, and take it to market in the shortest possible time and fail easily because you did not have to invest on the hardware, on the software to an extent, and on the cloud services. You're trying to bring it all together so you can then focus on your end application. And with that, Benjamin, I would be ready to take any more questions. One more thing, which is this slide is bringing it up as well. We are part of the IoT Eclipse challenge. And this is the announcement the Eclipse organization did a couple of days ago. And we would definitely encourage you to use the Mango Red for this challenge. If you get selected among the top 10, I guess maybe Benjamin, you can go through those details. We would give you a free Mango Red board in that case for you to build your end application with. And with that, Benjamin, I'm ready to take more questions and answer any questions.
Sure. Well, thanks everyone for staying online. Yeah, we had some issues, but I think we managed to fix those. Thanks, Ashish, as well for the presentation. Maybe a few more words, yes, on the Open IoT Challenge. We have the URL here. Please go and check out the challenge. Like Ashish said, if your proposal... Ashish, do you mind turning your volume down just a bit? I get some echo.
Oh.
That should be good. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, much better. Thanks for that. So the Open IoT Challenge, we want people to build cool solutions using open source software. It turns out that, like Ashish said, there's a lot in the CR Wireless portfolio that has to do with open source, and that includes Mango for open hardware. So yeah, your proposal that you will need to enter and submit before November the 13th. If it gets selected and shortlisted, among other things, you will get awarded a Mango board that you can use for building your design. So please check this out. You still have a few weeks to apply. You don't have to create a thorough, super detailed proposal, but at least give the jury an idea of what you're going to be up to for the remaining duration of the challenge, which will take us through the beginning of next year, basically. So, an interesting question from Vitaly. What's behind the name with Mango with a 0 and H at the end? I don't think there's always a 0, actually, is it?
No, that's a very good question. I'll give you the rundown on that. So we didn't have a massive marketing budget, I would say, when we first came up with the Mango name. And the story is that just with all brutal honesty, I like mango, so I said, okay, it's a, and let's call the project Mango. And so that was used to be MANGO and open hardware. So I was exchanging emails with this group of people, and then one of the guys replied back and somehow made a mistake where they combined the Mango, and after that there was a word OH, into one word, and they said Mango. And me and my colleague looked at it and said, this looks really good. And it was more, I would say, the OH stands for open hardware. And it was, I would say, a mistake on someone else's part that became our name, because we liked it because mangoes are good and open hardware is what we were focusing on. And then it became easy for us to then come up with the green, the red, the yellow, and later on the orange when it's available. So that's how the name came around.
Well, that's a great name indeed. I have a question. Are there people who run other Linux distros than the Legato distro on the board? Like, I don't know, OpenWRT or other frameworks?
There are requests. There are people doing stuff on their own. And they do that independently of us. You are free to do that. Of course, you're free to do that. It's an open source platform. My team is able to support a lot more on the Legato side, just because that's what we do. We try to answer questions, try to help where we can. But yes, I've talked to a few people who have either started doing that or have expressed interest in doing that. Some have used the POSIX APIs directly, because you can do that. Some have used Legato. So we have seen a mixed bag in the adoption, I would say. But Legato makes it simpler. But a lot of it's a lot of times, and it's secure as well with the sandboxing of applications and other things we provide. So it depends what people like to do, whether it's ease of use or whether they want to security and all the other things together. They have to make their own choice in the end.
Yeah, makes sense. There is a question from Tom. I would ask Ashish again if you could turn your volume down. There's really lots of echo. Yeah, hopefully this is going to be better. Not so much, but let's try. So Tom was actually a finalist from the Open IoT Challenge last year, and I believe in Canada, just like you, Ashish. Great question regarding third-party compliance and certification when it comes to things like Bluetooth. Can we advertise and use Bluetooth logo in the prototyping phase when we use Mango, for example?
That's a very good question. So let's talk about compliance. We have passed our FCC CE IC compliance testing. That was number one for us. We should be able to get the logo on the boards and for the second revision of the platform. We also do some cellular testing, like compliance testing for cellular as well. So that's been our focus. We have not focused on the Bluetooth compliance testing or the Wi-Fi compliance testing, but we use a MediaTek chipset, and the stack there has gone through certification. And we have not focused on the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi compliance testing itself. But if there's a great demand for that, we can look into that. But as of now, we have not done it. That's just a use case we have not really delved deep into as of now.
Okay. Another question from Tamara, but actually I think she removed the question in the meantime. But I think the question was around use cases around healthcare. Are there people building healthcare solutions
Yes.
with Mango?
Yes, yes, and I cannot disclose what our customers are doing without their approval. Yes, but I can say that there is definitely smart health applications being built by startups with the Mango platform.
Great. At this point, I don't see other questions, so we will maybe start wrapping up. And if there's one last minute question, we can certainly take it. So as a reminder, please make sure to check out the Open IoT Challenge, and this will be a good opportunity for you guys to use Mango as part of the solution that you will build. Yeah, I would like to stress that just like for the previous editions, we are looking for actual solutions, right? It's not about I'm going to blink an LED and use whatever open source projects for that. Yeah, sure, that's great. That's a great proof of concept. But as a reminder, the winner last year built a complete solution for monitoring the sleep patterns of his kids who has bipolar disorder, and basically built a whole end-to-end solution all the way from data collection to machine learning, data analytics to predict whenever a new episode of bipolar disease would happen. So that's the kind of solution we're looking for. So if you have any question, just send them our way, and we'll be happy to help you and provide feedback on the proposal. If you have questions regarding Mango in general, Ashish mentioned the main website, which is mango.io. So that's where you want to go to learn more about Mango. If you're watching the replay, the recording of the webinar, which we will probably be editing a bit to remove those bits where the internet gods were failing on us. If you're watching the recording and if you have questions, just use the comments, and we'll make sure to send the questions to Ashish so that they get answered. And with that, I will tell everyone, see you at EclipseCon Europe next week, if you're going to be there in Stuttgart, Germany. And we are going to be back in a few weeks for another virtual IoT meetup. Ashish, it was really great having you. As you can see from the questions you had, people stayed on despite all the issues we had, and I'm again really sorry about that. Maybe an idea for our next meetup would be a meetup around Legato, right? Like you said, there might be a lot more to say about that. So maybe we'll see you again in the future. Thank you again.
Thank you for the opportunity. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.